Hey guys, so one of you reached out and said that you had a question about completing the square, specifically question 7 on the study guide. So question 7 was x squared plus 18x plus 68 equals 0. And you cannot see that, and it's backwards. So give me just a second. Let me pause this and see if I can fix this. Alright, so I think that helps. Okay, so what we have from yesterday, this was number 7 on our study guide, and it asked us to solve the quadratic equation by completing the square. So when I look at this and I think of completing the square, immediately what I know I need to do is bring the 68 to the other side of my equation. So I would rewrite this as x squared plus 18x, and I'm going to put plus something there because we're going to complete the square on this side. And when I bring that 68 to the other side, it's going to become a negative 68. And then I'm going to say plus something because we have to keep this equation balanced here, right? So to complete the square, I don't know how far, I think you guys can see over to the side there. So to complete the square, what we want to do is look at our middle term there, okay? So that b. So we want to take half of that 18, which in our case gives us, half of 18 gives us 9. Then whatever you get, when you take half of that term, you square it. So in our case, we're going to say 9 squared, that gives us 81. That number there is what we put here and there. Okay, so I've made this where I can factor this into it's a perfect square. It's going to be a binomial all squared. So how do I, well, what will it look like factored? So I have what I need right here to factor this thing. That 9 is what's going inside of my parentheses. I have x plus 9 because that is a positive 9 all squared equals, and over here when I add a negative 68 and 81, I get 13. And that was the first part of the question. It says to select the form, and I would have to select the form that would have the plus, and it would have a box there for you to type the 9 in. And then on the other side, you would type in only the 13. But then it says to solve it. So then I have to go a bit further and actually solve this thing. So to solve this, what I would do is get rid of that square by taking the square root of both sides. And that would leave me with an x plus 9 is equal to a positive and negative square root of 13. I can't do anything with that 13, that square root of 13. That's an irrational number, so I'm going to leave it just the way it is. But what I can do here is bring that 9 to the other side of that equation. Subtract 9 from both sides, just bring that 9 across, however you want to look at it. But that will essentially become x is equal to a negative 9 plus and minus the square root of 13. So remember, these are two solutions. You have two solutions. These are irrational solutions. And something that I said in class that I want to clarify. So these can be considered complex solutions. So complex solutions can be written in the form of a plus bi. In other words, you can have a b there, right, other than 0. But imagine if your b was 0, then the I you just wouldn't see the I. So on your test, if it were to say to find the complex solutions, let's remember. Let's keep in our mind, because I didn't want to remember that either, but let's remember that all numbers can be written in the form of a complex number. It's just that your b may be 0, so you may not see the imaginary part, right? So again, this is your answer. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I am more than happy to help.